witches that black masses, evil minds that plot destruction, cause the roar of death's construction. In the fields the bodies burning, and the war machine keeps turning. Then hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds.
Hey folks, we're live here on this Sunday morning. Not much going on, to tell you the truth. We've had a little bad luck with some of our family members this afternoon. There was a bad accident, so of course I'm late getting on the air tonight. It's actually 3 over here on the East Coast. Actually 13 minutes after 3 to be exact. But hey, y'all like that song right there? That's worth a copyright. Whatchamacallit on YouTube right there. We don't care. It's worth it. That was actually a live version. Zach Sabbath. That's Z-A-K-K Sabbath. As in Zach Wild. But anyways, there's been so much going on around the world that we can't keep up with all of it. It actually came out like last week that Vice President was ordering his own lawyers to fight against the Russian BS, whatever. That was an article that I had planned to read on the show, but I didn't get around to it. It's like, there's so much going on that you can't keep up with it in a 3-hour show. I could actually do an all-day broadcast probably, but God knows that my poor old body couldn't take it. The morbid process of preparing for the Queen's death. That's what I just saw on Twitter, tweeted out by OMG Facts. They've been planning for 60 years. It says, let's check this out. But I can't wait till everything, the show and all that improves, so I can start showing you exactly what I'm looking at and all that. I've actually got a few apps on this computer which I could make videos like that, but I don't know how to work them all that good, and they ain't too good either. Yeah, I need some new equipment, but oh well. This article is from Dose.com. Written by Elena Gordon, I think. Must be. They've been planning for 60 years. On April 21st, Queen Elizabeth II will turn 91 years old. During her 65-year reign, she's outlasted 12 presidents, and she is only the Queen most British citizens have ever known. Here in the States, we have dynastic families, the Kennedys, the Bushes, the Clintons, but the American government is specifically designed to limit the control of power of our political leaders. And while both British power significantly and monarchical power on the whole has declined considerably during Queen Elizabeth's reign, Americans cannot truly grasp her significance as a cultural icon and symbol of British power. When she dies, many people will feel as if they lost their own mother. Oh my God, man. Can you believe this? In Britain, the deaths of royal family members are heavily orchestrated affairs. When King George V was close to death in 1936, his doctor, Lord Dawson, made the decision to euthanize his patient, injecting him with 750 milligrams of morphine and a gram of cocaine. The injection was intended to relieve the king's agony, but also to expedite the process in order for the news to make the next morning's paper. The Queen's death will be no different whether she dies at home or abroad. The country has prepared an incredibly elaborate response strategy. Immediately following her death, once the Queen dies, her eldest son Charles will inherit the throne. His siblings Princess Anne, Prince Edward, and Prince Andrew will kiss her hands, pledging their loyalty to the new monarch. The Queen's private secretary, Sir Christopher Gilt, will use a secure phone line to contact Britain's Prime Minister Theresa May with the previously agreed upon code words, quote, "London Bridge is down," unquote, "The Queen is dead," a state of 15 governments outside the UK, and serves as a nominal leader for the other 36 nations. The news will pass to the leaders of these countries next. Then there's the matter of notifying the media and subsequently the rest of the planet. A press release will go out to UK's agency and to media outlets around the world. As soon as the news is made public, a door at Buckingham Palace will open and a footman outfitted in black will exit to pin a, quote, "black edge notice," unquote, to the castle gates, and the castle website will be updated to a single black web page bearing the same text as the notice. Around the world, the Cold War, the BBC installed a, quote, radio alert transmission system, unquote, or RATS. The alarm's purpose was to alert the nation in the event of an attack or emergency, but BBC staff have only heard the alarm employed in tests, but after the Queen's passing, the alarm will sound as a call to national mourning. Lack of content will not be an issue in Britain. The Guardian reports that the paper's deputy editor has a list of stories ready to go. The Times of London purportedly has 11 days worth of Queen-related coverage planned. Other news organizations have practiced extensively utilizing the name, quote, Mrs. Robinson, unquote, during the covert rehearsals. Experts are locked into contracts to give their exclusive takes to specific news organizations. Radio stations have crafted 2 levels of playlists with, quote, sad and saddest, unquote, music. Fewer comedy programs will air on TV. Everyone will wear black, and people will be released from work early. The mourning period. The Queen's death will be marked by a 12-day mourning period, followed by the funeral. During this time, the newly minted king will take a short tour of 4 countries to greet his new constituents. Queen Elizabeth embarked on similar tours after her father's death in 1952. Her body will rest in Buckingham Palace throne room next to an altar, the funeral cloth and royal standard, a flag depicting the shield of the royal arms, 4 Grenadier Guards, members of the most senior regiment of the British infantry, will stand sentinel. Since 1672, the Norfolk family has assumed responsibility for the royal funeral proceeding. The 18th Duke of Norfolk is in charge of Queen Elizabeth's funeral. The elaborate ceremony is expected to go off without a hitch, largely owing the fact that they started planning for the event in the 1960s. Organizers meet 2 to 3 times a year to update, refine, and scrutinize the arrangements. Certain variables are already understood. It will take 28 minutes to march from St. James Palace to Westminster Hall, where the body will lie in state. Other factors will be determined in real time by the new king. The day after Queen Elizabeth's death, also known as D+1, Charles will officially be declared king. During the Ascension Council, which will take place the same day, he will pledge a vow to protect the church in Scotland. 4 years after the Queen's death, D+4, her coffin will move to Westminster Hall, where it will rest for 4 days for 23 hours a day. Guards will watch the Queen's subjects come to pay their respects. Every detail is plotted out, from how often the wreaths on the coffin will be replaced to how many portable toilets and water stations will be needed to accommodate the 500,000 people expected to attend. Most businesses will close on the day of the funeral. 12 days after her death, Big Ben will ring at 9 a.m., signifying the start of the proceedings. The funeral will take place in Westminster Abbey in front of 2,000 guests. When the funeral begins at 11 a.m., the country will cease all activities for a moment. Everyone and everything will stop, acknowledging the end of an era. In this incredible researched article for The Guardian, reporter Sam Knight writes that Queen Elizabeth is, quote, Britain's last living link with our former greatness. The nation's ID hits problematic self-regard, unquote. The last few years of Queen Elizabeth's reign have been particularly fraught. See Brexit, Scotland's possible defection from the UK, powerful forces in Australia's government pushing to pull out of the Commonwealth and establish a republic, the possibility that others will follow, the pomp and circumstance expected for Queen Elizabeth's passing will celebrate her life and mourn her death. But it will also signify the official demise of Britain's global superiority. When Elizabeth dies, the country will mourn their queen, but also their legacy. And that is the end of that article. I'm not a big reader of Dose or anything that comes from there much, but I'm not sure, like, which way they tend to lean or anything like that. Okay, they're part of, they're on Medium.com. This at Lana Abbey. That's at LLANA ABBY. But that's a lot of stuff I didn't know, but I kind of saw it coming. I don't see her dying no time soon. She's liable to outlive me, for all I know. But let's get to this article here about Trump. Check out the cover that I put up for this episode. It's the cover of that Time magazine that he's on, where it's coming a bad rainstorm inside the Oval Office. It's like, that was Roscoe, by the way, if you heard that pig sound. That was my dog. Not no pig, he's a dog, believe it or not. That's a lot of who you hear snoring in the background in other prior episodes, but yeah. There was a video when I first clicked on this article that the artist had made, talking about when he painted this portrait for this particular cover of Time magazine. I'll play it for you also. Just a second, it's loading up.
The role that artists have, we reflect the time. We don't drive the news. We
I want you to know it's going to skip.
reflect what's going on, and we try to think of visual analogies to make people understand, in this case, the level of chaos that's going on, and hopefully enlighten people. The assignment came in the form of an email. It was from D.W. Pine. He asked if I could do some sketches of Trump in a storm. And I think the words I remember most were chaos and wind. The first place I start in the portrait is usually the portrait itself. With this piece, there was a desk that was going to take a lot of time, and the items on the desk. But I'd really have to nail the portrait first. I'd rather run out of time working on a desk than working on the portrait. The most difficult part of doing a job like this is not coming up with a concept or even finishing the piece. It's somewhere around 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm starting to fade a little bit, and I have to get up and walk around and get myself awake again to be able to finish it with the same kind of focus I had when I started. I don't even know how many time covers I've done. I've done mostly portraits of interesting people. And I assumed with Trump that illustrators would have a lot of work to do, and I was right. When things are erratic and all over the place and unpredictable, it lends itself more to illustration. Illustration is really great at capturing the unknown to make things that are out of the ordinary more understandable. And so I hope, not just for me, but for all illustrators, there's plenty more illustration work in the years to come. I would like things to calm down a bit, though.
But yeah, that was that article. Or that video, I'm sorry. This article was written on February 16th, 2017. The story behind Time's Trump chaos cover. By Sky Gurney. For the February 27th cover of Time on the chaos surrounding the initial days of the Trump administration, we turned to our Brooklyn-based artist, Tim O'Brien, a long-time Time collaborator. O'Brien's work has appeared on over 24 Time covers since 1989, with subjects ranging from Pope Benedict XVI to Osama bin Laden. His imaginative style and gift for detail made him the right choice to create a portrait of disruption in the White House. This part talks about what that video just covered. O'Brien's quotes. It goes on to say, outside his 28-year relationship with Time, O'Brien has appeared on publications all over the world, including several U.S. postage stamps and book covers such as the popular Hunger Games trilogy, 2 of his Time magazine covers, one with Bill Clinton and Bob Dole, and the other with a grand old publicist, both published in 1996, reside in the National Portrait Gallery at the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. But I was wanting to read that whole article right there. It sucks when you can't find what you're looking for. Let's see. Like, there's a lot of different media sites that covered that story, but I can't find none of them with a full story. That's what I searched. I thought I would go into detail about that and then tell you about some more stuff. But I'm having a little trouble finding it. I've actually got a subscription, I think, right now. Time Magazine. Let me check this out. Yep, that's Roscoe Snoring. Okay, I'm on the website. Still not seeing it. Let's see, professors say Otto Warmbier got what he deserved. Oh my God. University of Delaware is distancing itself from comments made by an adjunct professor after she said a college student who died after being held by North Korea, quote, got exactly what he deserved, end quote. Yates condemned Sessions on criminal justice reform. Former acting Attorney General Sally Yates was publicly criticized Attorney General Jeff Sessions for reinstating harsh mandatory minimum drug sentences aimed at curbing violent drug throughout the U.S. in a Washington Post op-ed. Let's go over here to Drudge. We may come back to that. Or hell, let's go to WYMT and we'll come back to that stuff here in a little bit, hopefully. This is something interesting I wanted to tell y'all about. There's a poll, I forgot to tell you about it the other night. There's a poll on WYMT.com. Do you believe that Governor Matt Bevin's recent criticism of the media is fair? This is, they're talking about, that article that I read you all the other night about when he called on, what do you call them things? Cicadas, whatever, making noise. But anyways, you can go and still vote on that right now if you want to. But the results of it, as of now, 62.02% have said yes, and 34.88% have said no, and 2.09% are undecided. They have a total responses of 430. But yeah, you can go over. They keep some pretty interesting polls over at WYMT. Something I would like to do actually. Troopers told WYMT that a sheriff's deputy had been shot and the suspect is still at large. And it happened on Kentucky 92 West near Jones Hollow Road in McQuarrie County. There ain't much going on though in local news. I want to find out about Eric C. Kahn, if I ever caught the Kahn man. There haven't been no more articles posted since June 19th. Actually, which is strange. I mean, if that was me, they'd be talking about it still. They must not have caught him though. Let's see if I can find anything on Google. Article from Washington Times. Here's one from NBC News. It's on June the 5th. Eric C. Kahn, center of $550 million Social Security fraud, disappears. This one from the Washington Times, it's from June the 4th even. Headline, if I can get to the daggone thing. I hate websites like this. Lawyer who ran $550 million Social Security fraud scam cuts monitoring device goes on run. that article Sunday, June 4th. But I thought I may have seen something else. Hold on just a minute. This is from the Lexington Herald Leader. Trying to find a date. June 23rd. A really odd person, fugitive lawyer Eric C. Kuhn's bizarre life story. I ain't interested in his life story. Although I may read that later. It said something in it about Obama's girl, actually, and Amberly Ettinger, a model, something or other, moved. It's a pretty long article. Yeah, I hate to go into it on the air. I'll read it maybe later, and we might get into that on another day. Let me find. This article comes from AP. This is the headline on Drudge right now. Big cases, retirement rumors as Supreme Court nears finish, by Mark Sherman, Associated Press. Washington AP. The Supreme Court enters its final week of work before a long summer hiatus, with action expected on the Trump administration's travel ban and a decision due in a separation of church and state case that arises from a Missouri church playground. The biggest news of all, though, would be if Justice Anthony Kennedy were to use the court's last public session on Monday to announce his retirement. To be sure, Kennedy has given no public sign that he will retire this year and give Donald Trump his second high court pick in the first month of his administration. Kennedy's departure will allow conservatives to take firm control of the court. But Kennedy turns 81 next month, and he has been on the court for nearly 30 years. Several of his former law clerks have said that they think he is contemplating stepping down in the next year or so. Kennedy and his clerks were gathering over the weekend for a reunion that was pushed up a year and helped spark talk that he might be leaving the court. Quote, soon we'll know if rumors of Kennedy's retirement are accurate, unquote. One former Kennedy clerk, George Washington University law professor Orrin Kerr, said on Twitter Friday. When the justices take the bench Monday, they are expected to decide the case of Trinity Lutheran Church of Columbia, Missouri, which was excluded from a state grant to pay for soft surfaces on playgrounds and run by not-for-profit groups. The case is being closely watched by advocates of school vouchers who hope The court will make it easier to use state money to pay for private religious schooling in states and now prohibit it. Missouri has since changed its policy under Republican Governor Eric Greitens, Greitens. Every how you say that, I say I butchered it. Greitens, maybe, so that churches may not apply for the money. Also expected in the next few days, though there's no deadline by which the court must decide, is a ruling on whether to allow the administration to immediately enforce a 90-day ban on visitors from 6 monthly Muslim countries. Justice Neil Gorsuch, Trump's first Supreme Court nominee, could play a pivotal role in both the travel ban and church playground cases. In all, 6 cases that were argued between November and April remain undecided. 3 of those, also involving immigrants of foreigners, were heard by an 8-justice court before Gorsuch joined the bench in April. If the 8 justices are evenly divided, those cases could be argued a second time in the fall, which Gorsuch available to provide a tie-breaking vote. That's the end of that article. Folks, I haven't even put the number out tonight. But yeah, the phone lines, they're open as always. Call 276-524-0047. That's 276-524-0047. You can also, there's a live chat on Spreaker here. If you follow me on Twitter or Facebook, you can send me a message and I'll send you a link and you can join live chat. But moving on, a few articles here. That I ran across the other day and haven't gotten a chance to share them. It's from the New York Post, written by Paul Sperry. Next up, a special counsel to probe Team Obama's obstruction of justice. By using fired FBI Director James Comey to attack the new Republican administration, Democrats have opened up a legal can of worms for the Obama administration. Under sworn questioning, Comey has veered off the topic of President Trump and Russia and revealed several damning incidents in which his predecessor's administration politically interfered in the Hillary Clinton email investigation, and now the Senate will investigate Team Obama for obstruction of justice. Significantly, the Senate Judiciary Committee announced last week it will hold hearings to, quote, examine then Attorney General Loretta Lynch's involvement in the Clinton email server investigation, end quote. I remember they met on that tarmac right there somewhere in the desert, and talked about your grandkids and, this and that and the other and blah, blah, blah. Life goes on. Y'all know what was said, what happened right before this past 2016 presidential election. Y'all remember. Y'all got memories. Tell me that stuff. Significantly, the Senate Judiciary Committee... Oh, no, I just read that. The findings of the powerful panel, which has oversight of the Justice Department and FBI, could lead to a separate criminal investigation and the naming of another special counsel. Exactly what Trump needs to distract the attention from his growing legal woes. What Lynch did reeks of obstruction, according to Comey. His ex-boss ordered him to mislead the public about the criminal investigation of Clinton by calling it a, quote, matter, end quote, rather than an investigation. He complied with her wish, even though it made him feel, quote, queasy, unquote. I'd say he did feel queasy, that little wormy SOB. Hey. And he also refused to recuse himself from the case after Comey confronted her about a secret June 2016 meeting she had with former President Bill Clinton 5 days before his wife was scheduled to be interviewed by the FBI. Hillary was cleared 3 days later. What I just got through saying. And I have not read this article, folks. I've been saving it. I know what the headline said, and I know what it was about, but I just ain't even read it. That's how unscripted this show is, by the way. So, just... Okay, I digress. There are also comments raised by a New York Times report that Lynch privately assured the Clinton campaign that she would keep FBI agents in check and wouldn't let their investigation, quote, go too far, unquote, according to a message the FBI intercepted involving then Democratic National Committee Chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, whatever that thing's name is. She's another one. She give Hillary the damn questions to the damn debate, and when it came out in the WikiLeaks, she stepped down, 2 days later? Yeah, but whatever. They need to investigate her at AWS too. Bunch of damn Democrats and their damn liberal ways. They ain't liberal, they're communist is what they are. Socialist. Worried his boss had a, quote, conflict of interest, unquote, overseeing the Clinton investigation. Comey testified he, quote, considered whether I should call the appointment of a special counsel, unquote, to take over the case. That would have been the right move. Curiously, Comey instead shut down the probe and let Clinton off the hook 3 weeks before her presidential nomination. How compliant was Comey? Here's how he responded to Lynch's demand. He, quote, aligned, unquote, his rhetoric with the Clinton camp, quote, I just said, okay, unquote, what other Lynch meddling did he go along with during the year-long Hillary probe, which was mirrored by suspiciously generous immunity deals, favorable ground rules, a clear absence of grand jury subpoenas, and a rush closure ahead of DNC convention. These are questions the Senate Judiciary Panel chairman by GOP Senator Chuck Grassley might like to ask Comey, along with who else was in the room during the meeting with Lynch, and did you take notes? Any notes could be subpoenaed, along with a Wasserman Schultz document, which, contrary to recent media reports, isn't fake. Comey testified such reports are, quote, nonsense, unquote. So, might the NSA recording of Lynch's chat with Clinton, which took place on board a government plane? Congressional sources say Lynch will almost certainly be called to answer Comey's allegations under oath. Which did she and Bill discuss? Did the investigation come up? Why didn't she recuse herself despite admitting it looked bad? And did she, in fact, promise the Clinton campaign a whitewash? Also on the potential witness list are Wasserman Schultz and Amanda Renteria, the senior Clinton campaign staffer, and whom Wasserman Schultz claimed Lynch had been in communication. Democrats will have a hard time dismissing the inquiry as partisan. Senator Dianne Feinstein, the ranking Democrat on the Judiciary Panel, is on record saying Lynch's suspicious actions are a legitimate avenue of inquiry. Those remarks provide Republicans the political cover they need to aggressively pursue the Comey leads and refer evidence to the Justice Department for criminal prosecution. Because Attorney Jeff Sessions would recuse himself from the probe too, the case could end up in the hands of a special prosecutor who, like Robert Mueller, would have wide-ranging authority to poke around. That's a nightmare scenario for Democrats who are betting the 2018 midterms on the convincing voters of Trump gaffed, much to the chagrin. Comey's testimony that's giving Republicans grounds to shift focus from the Russian probe back to the Clinton-Obama corruption. Witch hunting Democrats may soon learn that turnabout is fair play. Paul Sperry is a former Hoover Institution fellow and author of The Great American Bank Robbery. Yeah, folks, this is what we have waited on for years now. Finally, they're going to probe around on some damn Democrats and see what them bastards has been up to. Let me tell you something. There ain't nothing crookeder than a damn Democrat, even these old roads right around here, okay? A Democrat's crookeder than they are, especially a Democrat politician. There's good people in all sizes, shapes, colors, and creeds, okay? There's good people in all of them. And there's also bad people. And they are the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst, okay? They are bad people, okay? These people, I also heard today that it's come out that there's some top lawmakers that are under investigation for a pedophile ring. That's right, folks. They've been running a pedophile ring supposedly out of these third world countries, which are run by like drug cartels and that sort of thing. And yeah, you talk about human trafficking and stuff. Hey, the stuff's liable to hit the fan any day now. I'm telling you, I can't wait to see what comes out next. I've never. You talk about like being interested in a show, like you can't wait to see what's going to happen next, and you just wait till next week, boys. Next show's going to be awesome. Well, it's like that every day. We are living in interesting times, folks. That is unquestionable. I mean, you can literally see everything happening every day. And like I said earlier in this broadcast, I can't keep up with it all, especially in a 2-hour show every day. Well, we've been going for almost an hour now, and yeah, but anyway, there's another article here. I think it was also from the New York Post. I'll find it. That one was a special counsel to probe. No, I'm sorry. Hold on. Senate panel looking into Lynch's involvement in Clinton email probe. That's the 23rd of June. Also from the New York Post, written by Gabby Morangelo. I hope I said that right. Please excuse me if I didn't. Washington. A Senate panel is investigating whether former Attorney General Loretta Lynch interfered in the FBI probe of Hillary Clinton's private email server, according to a letter sent to Lynch on Friday. The letter from Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, Republican from Iowa, and ranking Democrat Dianne Feinstein asked Lynch to detail her involvement in the Justice Department's investigation of Hillary Clinton and her correspondence during the course of it with members of Clinton's inner circle of the DNC staffers. Quote, your time in the Justice Department, did you ever have communications with former DNC chairwoman Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, her staff, her associates, or any current or former DNC officials about Clinton email investigation? Reads one of 6 questions included in the letter. The Judiciary Committee's decision to investigate Lynch's conduct comes weeks after ousted FBI Director James Comey publicly testified that she tried to influence the way he discussed the email probe by telling him to call it a, quote, matter instead of an investigation. Comey had previously told lawmakers he, quote, struggled, unquote, with how to handle the email probe because of, quote, a number of things that had gone wrong on that made me worry that Justice Department leadership could not credibly complete the investigation and decline prosecution without grievous damage to the American people's confidence in the justice system, unquote. Lynch's surprise meeting with Bill Clinton on an airport tarmac last June drew instant scrutiny from Republicans. The former Attorney General later apologized for the, quote, innocuous, unquote, meeting, saying that it was something she came to regret. Grassley gave Lynch a July 6 deadline to submit answers to the Judiciary Committee regarding her involvement in the Clinton email investigation. A spokesperson from the former Attorney General did not return the Post's request for comment. I'd say they didn't. Times come, folks. What goes around comes around, and you can't get through this life, your whole life being crooked. Sooner or later, it's got to come out, especially when you're as crooked as they are. There's some pretty interesting articles up on Drudge this evening. Says UK Parliament's hit by cyber attack. I really ain't too interested in that. Refugees to U.S. cut in half. That's a step in the right direction. This article is from the Associated Press by Kevin Freking. Washington AP. A dozen or so House Democrats want Majority Leader Nancy Pelosi to go after a dispiriting loss in a House election in Georgia. They just don't know how to make it happen. Quote, we can't keep losing races and keep the same leadership in place. You have a baseball team that keeps losing year after year. At some point, the coach has got to go, right? Said Republican Representative Kathleen Rice, Democrat from New York, on Friday. The frustrated Democrats met in Rice's office a day earlier to discuss their options as they face long odds of knocking out the woman who had led the Democratic caucus for nearly 15 years from minority to majority and back, raised tens of millions of dollars, and has multiple legislative successes. Their action plan, keep talking, keep raising the concern that something needs to change within the ranks of the party's leadership. It's about all they can do. Quote, right now, what I'm pushing for is a conversation within the caucus, quote, Rice said. A defiant Pelosi told reporters Thursday that she was, quote, very confident, unquote, about the support that she had from fellow Democrats who was now number 193 when it comes to her detractors. Pelosi said, quote, my decision about how long I stay is not up to them, unquote. The main argument against Pelosi and her Democrat detractors is that more than 30 years in Washington and hundreds of millions of dollars in attacks against her have taken their toll when it comes to public opinion. Millions were spent in Georgia with ads linking Pelosi to Jon Ossoff, who lost to Republican Karen Handel on Tuesday. They argued that Democratic candidates will have a better shot on Election Day if they're not tied to Pelosi. Quote, the issue, I think, strategically is that Trump energizes their base and later Pelosi energizes their base, said Representative Tim Ryan, Democrat from Ohio, who was unsuccessful last year trying to unseat Pelosi. Said Rice, quote, the Republican playbook has been very successful. It's not fair, it's not accurate in its attacks on our leader, but it's effective. They keep winning and we keep losing, unquote. But it's also clear that many Democrats in the House, if not the large majority, they don't see it that way. They say voters in Republican-leaning districts are motivated by more than a desire to stop Pelosi, and Democrats need to work on developing a message that can win them over. On that point, Ryan agreed that the Democrats need to focus less on President Trump and more on economic issues. Quote, we should stop talking about Trump all the time and Russia. People in Ohio don't grab me about Russia at all when I'm home. End quote, Ryan said. Trump seems to enjoy the focus on Pelosi, taking another jab Friday after tweeting about her the day before. Quote, I'd like to keep her right where she is because our record is extraordinary against her, end quote, Trump said in a Fox News interview. Republican Seth Moulton, Democrat from Massachusetts, who also attended the meeting, said, quote, in every corner of our caucus we're concerned and we have one goal, winning in 2018, end quote, unquote. Moulton, who is one of the House Democrats who has been the most vocal in calling for a new generation of leadership. The Iraq War veteran endorsed 8 veterans running for the House this week and started a new national security task force with other young veterans within the Democratic caucus. Quote, of course I'm open to a meeting, unquote, with Pelosi. Moulton said, quote, we're a family. We're going to have those discussions, unquote. Pelosi said that would be fine with her. Quote, I love the arena. I thrive on competition and I welcome the decision, unquote, she said. Associated Press writer Matthew Daly contributed to this report. On Tuesday, reach Kevin Freking at twitter.com/APKFreking. Well, have you heard about the bird? Everybody knows about the bird. Anyways, Nancy Pelosi ain't going nowhere till she gets beat, that is. I'll tell you about the Democrats, boys. People's tired of being looked over. They're tired of being pushed around. They're tired of being criticized. a lot of people are tired of government handouts, to tell you the truth. A lot of people want to be more self-sufficient and take care of themselves and their families more too. They definitely don't support a fully functional family home. They want these women to be married to the government, raise the government's kids for them, what time they feed them, and give them welfare checks and food stamps and all this money to fix their vehicles with and all this. If you got a kid, y'all, you can get anything from the government. I ain't got no babies myself, so that means I don't get nothing from the government, especially right now. Yeah, I can't wait till he brings the coal mines back good to Kentucky like they was at one time, or, well, ever since I can remember. There still ain't no jobs around here much. I've been trying to get one myself and have had no luck whatsoever. Just to be honest. Here's an article. TSA agent caught stealing cash from luggage. TSA agent caught stealing cash from luggage at Orlando International Airport, cops say. I'm not going to read that. That's an article from the Orlando Sentinel, ever how you say it. God almighty, I'm tongue-tied. Heck. What about that now? CNN deletes, retracts story linking Trump and Russia. I'd say they did. Folks, CNN is ISIS. That's all you can say about that. They support radical jihad. They support all that stuff. And most of your mainstream media does too, if you ain't noticed in the past couple of months / year and a half or so. About 90% of the major media is owned by companies like Time Warner and Disney and all of them. The folks, the New World Order is going to kill us, everyone, if we don't stop them. They're giving us all cancer. They're spraying chemtrails on us every day, which the chemicals are falling from the atmosphere to the soil. Not only that, they're magnifying the heat and blocking out the sun. I'm not kidding about that. These GMOs are going to kill us all. Do your research on GMOs and find out about the Roundup connection to it. If that ain't enough to make you sick, I don't know what will. I know what will. One of the scientists said that you could drink a whole jug of Roundup and it wouldn't hurt you a bit. And when they asked the scientists to drink a jug and, demonstrate, he then refused. So, there you go. These pharmaceutical drugs, they want to control us. They want to keep you in the house. They don't want you to go nowhere, maybe to the grocery store or somewhere like that. And to Walmart, spend a little money every once in a while, go back home. That's all. That's what they want you to do. I'm fixing to end this broadcast up pretty quick. It's getting pretty late. I'm pretty tired. Folks, y'all want to email me? Feel more than free to. You can send those emails to the alexmorganshow@gmail.com. alexmorgan9183@gmail.com. Or bigalmorgan@live.com. Y'all go over to the site provided in the description box and check out the site. Go to the YouTube page and share the videos and share the links. Send me $1 or $2 if y'all want to. You can do that at the website also. I ain't got no GoFundMe page or nothing like that. But anyway, there's another article here. I'll tell y'all a little bit about it later on, maybe. I might save it for you. But I'll see y'all later. Good night. I love you and pray for my family that they get okay and everything works out. I love y'all. Be safe. God bless you.